Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I haven't made a video in a real long time. Yes, I'm aware, but today is the day that we return. I've posted my music, but that's it. I haven't made a video. There's a very loud bird outside right now. It is 9 p.m. So what I wanted to talk to you today, I've had a video that I've been meaning to make, this video, how I made my EP. Oh dear. I released my EP 6 months ago in September of 2019. I've been meaning to make this video for a really long time, and I just finished up my junior year of college this past Saturday morning. So now I have all the time on my hands to do everything that I did not get a chance to do during the school year. This is a pretty big project because I have a ton of footage, and so I don't really know how I'm going to split everything up. What you're watching right now is the first video, presumably, of a as yet undetermined amount of videos, so that'll be fun. This is just me talking to you. I'm not screen recording yet. That will come later, but I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the overview of the EP and kind of the creative motivations behind the EP and my overall workflow, I guess, and my process, just to kind of give you an idea of my headspace. Okay. So the summer of 2019 is when I made my EP. I literally started it at the beginning of the summer, and I finished it by the end of the summer and released it a couple weeks after I had started my school year. So I did what I set out to do. I made an entire EP in one summer. I produced everything myself, mixed everything myself, recorded everything myself. I taught myself how to play guitar specifically for this EP because I knew that I wanted guitar. I love guitar in music. How many times can I say guitar? Guitar. I guess I'm saying that, I'm emphasizing that because I really find YouTube to be a great place to learn things. However, I have noticed a severe lack in female producers on YouTube, especially female indie producers. Where there are female producers, they produce hip hop beats or just electronic EDM, which is fine. That's great, but that's not anywhere close to the kind of music that I make. And even though a lot of the videos are useful in terms of how to use certain equipment and tips on recording vocals in your bedroom, that kind of thing, I don't really see a lot, if any, helpful content on indie music, because I think there's a specific style. There are a lot of different effects that do not get used in making beats, and I'm kind of just sick of watching dudes produce EDM. So yeah, I don't know, it feels helpful in some ways, and in other ways extremely irrelevant to what I make. So hopefully this will add something helpful to the internet. Not that I'm an amazing professional, knowledgeable person. I just taught myself enough to do it, and I think that's what counts. I'm just sick of the song. I'm so sick of all of my songs. There were a lot of different things that I wanted to learn in terms of making music, but I didn't really have a way to go about learning it other than, hey, I'm going to make an EP. That is a really intense way of learning something, but that's going to be one of my big tips, is if you are interested in making music, and you're kind of like me, you're really good at starting things, but you're not great at finishing things, I would highly recommend having a project in mind when you start, because sometimes when you're teaching yourself something, it can feel like you're just messing around just for hours on end, and by the end of it, you don't really feel like you got anywhere. I think having a project in mind, like an EP or even just a song, is really helpful for learning, because how else are you going to learn other than by doing it? And it also helps to save different songs that you work on, because you'll be able to really obviously observe your progress and how much you've learned. I can listen to some of the songs that I first produced on Logic, and I hate them because they're really bad. But I think it's a good sign when you're able to be critical of your past stuff, because it means you've gotten better. I get really excited thinking about a point in the future at which I could release like a set of songs that I've written that I'm really happy with and that feel like me. As I mentioned, I had a couple things that I wanted to learn in going into making my EP. First of all, I wanted to learn Logic. I had never used an actual DAW other than GarageBand. I wanted to do things that I couldn't do just on GarageBand. So I paid for Logic, and that was like my commitment to making an EP. But I bought Logic and I bought this microphone, which is the Audio-Technica 2020, I think. And if I'm wrong, then it'll be different in the description. But yeah, it's just a pretty affordable mic, fairly medium price. Fortunately, my dad is a music person, so he already had a Focusrite Scarlett interface thingy, which a lot of like home producers and music people have because it works really well and it's on the affordable side of things. That is what I had at my disposal and my laptop, and I believe that's it. I used these earbuds to mix my entire EP. I did not have nice headphones, I did not have monitors, literally just my earbuds and my car speakers. I would run back and forth between here and my car to like listen to my demos. And I would take notes and then I would come back, fix it, export a new version, run back to my car, so on and so forth. Not the easiest way to produce, but it worked. It's what I had access to at the time, so use what you have. I also wanted to learn how to play guitar. I have definitely improved a lot. At the beginning of the summer, I could barely play guitar, and my strumming was really bad, and it's still pretty bad, but it was way worse back then. However, I loved and still do love guitar heavy music, and so I knew I wanted to put guitar on my EP. I was not going to use any fake sounding guitar. At that point, I didn't really have any music connections, so I didn't have anyone that could have recorded it for me. So I was like, I'm just going to have to learn how to play guitar. That's just how it's going to be. And I did use a lot of shortcuts. I'm gonna be real with you. I would sometimes record at a slower tempo and then speed it up to the correct tempo, just so I could hit all of the notes in time. Sometimes I would just chop up the notes so that it was timed correctly because I was really bad at playing guitar again. So I basically did everything that I could to cheat my way into making sure that all of the guitar on the EP was played by myself. And I think I pulled it off. So yeah, going into the summer, I did not really know what I was doing at all. In terms of like the structure of the EP and the track list, I kind of had that in mind throughout the entire making of the EP. What I would do is, even from the very beginning of the summer when I started working on the EP, I started a notes file on my iPhone where I had basically a space for the EP's title and then like all of the tracks in order of how they would appear on the EP. This was just really nice to help me visualize what the final product might be, and also to just keep it all in my head of like, oh, this song might go here, this song might go here, so in order for me to have these two songs here, I'm gonna need a song like this to bridge the gap, that kind of thing, like thinking in terms of the big picture of the EP. Again, I didn't go into it knowing what the style would be, I didn't know what the themes would be. I just kind of started writing music, knowing that I was trying to get to a certain number of songs that I liked. So having that track list was really helpful. Another thing for me that was really helpful was I would export every time I made substantial changes to a song or even just made a demo of a song. I would bounce it to my iTunes library and assemble it all in an album on my library and upload it to my iCloud library so I could have it on my phone. And that way I could see every song and play every song as if it were how it would be in iTunes, like when it was a finished album. So I could change the cover art, play around with the song titles, play around with the order of the songs, and click through them as if they were playing in their finished form. That was very, very helpful. I would highly recommend any artist do that if they're working on a multi-track project of any kind, because it really helps you get a perspective on how each song flows into the next one and what your overall themes are and that kind of thing. There were a lot of ups and downs, obviously, about making the EP. I would go through phases where I felt like I was doing amazing stuff, and then I would go through phases where I felt like I would never, ever, ever get it done, and I just wanted to give up and stop doing it, and it sucked, and everything sucked, and I had no talent. We just couldn't fit it right. That was a good one. I know the songs that I'm writing are good. I'm so frustrated. I cannot mix worth of crap. I can't do it. I just can't do it. Ups and downs. Because all of this was like roughly a year ago at this point, I unfortunately don't know that I can remember details or like a detailed trajectory of how the summer went, but I did want to talk about one specific like switch that happened while I was making my EP that really made all the difference. Like, it completely changed the way that my EP turned out. I looked like a hot mess, but I just needed to get my hair out of my face and do this. Yesterday and the day before yesterday, I believe, I wrote 2 new songs, which is very rapid for me, I would say. So this morning, my EP was called Before the Sun, and my track list was Before the Sun, Dandelion Wine, which is a new song that I wrote the other day, a song called Insomnia, a song called The Wrong Reality, and then Miles and Miles / In the Night. And I think that was my track list. And I hated like half of the songs on that album. I didn't hate the concept of them, but I hated that I just couldn't finish them. They weren't finished. They weren't good enough. I woke up this morning and I was just kind of in like a destructive mood, and I was like, you know what? Screw it. These songs are not on the album anymore because they're halting my progress like so bad, and I just need to move forward. I cut most of those songs, threw in my new ones, rearranged everything, and I feel a lot better about the general vibe of the EP now. I renamed it because obviously I took off the song Before the Sun, and I'm not going to name the EP Before the Sun if the song Before the Sun is not on the EP. One of the new songs that I wrote, one of the lyrics is it not strange? I don't even remember what the lyric is. Is it not strange how we all find something wrong with each other? But I like that lyric, is it not strange? I just threw that on the EP and call it Is It Not Strange? ? Which I really like. It's very like, I just like the feeling of that, so everything feels really strange right now in my life. And at the same time, I'm trying to look more positively at everything, at the world in general. So I feel like this EP really shows that. The name of the EP really shows that. So I think I'm gonna go with that. Basically, mid-late summer, my EP was totally different. I had different songs on the track list. The entire EP was going to be called Before the Sun, and it had different cover art, and it was just going a totally different direction. My problem was I couldn't finish the song Before the Sun. I couldn't finish a couple of the other songs that were on the track list at the time. I just had like rough demos, incomplete songs, stuff that I was trying to finish in order to then finish the EP, but I couldn't get the songs finished. That was really frustrating me. So at one point I decided to take a break and stop working on those songs, and instead I think I told myself in my head that I was just gonna work on some other music just for fun, like on the side, not related to my EP. But in the span of 48 hours-ish, I ended up writing Dandelion Wine and The Other, which are the 2 like leading singles on the EP, and literally changed the entire EP and changed my life, kind of. That's really dramatic, and they haven't really even been that successful, but yeah, they honestly have like changed the trajectory of my life. So that would be my tip also, is if you're ever working on a project and you feel stuck, step away from it and work on something not to do with your project, because it might turn out to actually have everything to do with your project and change the entire direction of your project for the better. So yeah, that was a very weird like switch, but I remember after I did it, I felt so relieved and everything felt actually right. It is August 8th, I believe. Yes, it's August 8th. And I may have just finished mixing the EP. Like, I don't know, but I might have. So yeah, I'm nervous. I'm nervous to say that it's finished, because I have total control over whether it's good enough or not. You know what I mean? That is kind of the overview of the entire project. Yeah, I'm gonna do a breakdown of each song, and I'll talk more about my production learning process and what that was like when I go into each song. So yeah.